live. You got any questions? Got any questions for me, Mr. Steve Barco? Welcome to the live. I ain't seen you in a long time. I remember you from what stream? Where was we worked that stream together. Peace and love to you, baby. I got plenty of gems to drop, wisdom to share. Feel free to ask any question, relationship advice, life advice. Whatever. LOL. Yes, that was forever ago. I know. I'm back in Tampa. That's probably why I'm coming across your. I don't know if you see me on your timeline or whatnot. I think now that I'm back in Tampa, I've been seeing a lot more of Tampa people coming across my feed and stuff like that. But yes, baby, it's so good to see you or see you have your energy in this space. I am doing spiritual therapy live, so literally, like, I don't know if you have any questions or if you have any things that, anything you just might need some advice on. I'm telling you, I mean, I got plenty of wisdom gems to drop, but you may just want to just tap in just to say, hey, I appreciate you either way. Thank you so much for, sharing your energy on the live, tapping in. You been doing good, baby? How's life been treating you? You live in Fort Lauderdale now? Okay. Oh, flight attendant? Ooh, been traveling the world? I know that's right. Yes, that is lit. That is so lit. And what's your advice for a throuple? So what is you like? Okay. So when you say a throuple, that's like polygamy in this? Like, do you mean like in a type of like relationship that involves 3 people? Is that what you mean? Throuple? Be more specific so I can give you some more detailed advice. Poly, okay. So, okay, just right off the bat, you didn't, just off of just saying poly, I think that with poly relationships, first of all, it all depends on what you desire from the people that you're in a relationship with. It has to do with your love language. It has to do with because apparently if you're in a poly relationship, you don't got a problem with sharing, baby. Okay? So if you feel like that time is being split equally between you and the other partner, like, you know, if the more detail that you provide, the more advice that I can give in that regard. But like, just in general, poly, like, for me, I think that when I have thought about poly, right? And I look at poly like being in a relationship with someone who is going to be able to still be able to provide emotional, you know, support, and be able to split their... Hey, comedian Scooby, welcome to the live, baby. Thank you for being here and tapping in with me. Let me know if you have any questions. I got you. I'm dropping wisdom jewels, all of that. Okay, but back to you, H. Del Rio. Anything, I think if it has to do with poly, you just have to make sure that you're with somebody that is able to share whatever your love language is. They're going to be able to meet those needs equally between you and that other person. Like, if you're with somebody in a poly relationship, right, that what you desire still needs to be met with that person, right? But if you share the same admiration and love for both of the people that you're in a relationship, is drama free, like, I think, shit, do you, boo boo? If that's your vibe, if you like to share, baby, I'm so stingy with mine, baby. I ain't sharing. The only way I can see myself being in a poly relationship, if it was like one of those type of situations where I'm with like a billionaire motherfucker that, like, you know what I'm saying, got me set up and I ain't gotta worry, got not one worry in the motherfucking world, and like I said, I'm not feeling lacking in my needs being met, you know what I'm saying? And so, do you feel like your needs are being met in the poly relationship? Like, what do you feel about it? You know what I mean? Like, as far as, like, are you getting your needs met? Are you having any jealousy with the other person? Like, you know, how is it thus far with the poly dynamic? Also, too, like, if you ain't that serious and you just enjoying, like, the sexual fun aspect of it too, then it's like you really ain't got nothing to worry about. But if your emotions are involved and stuff like that, then it's a different story. It says, I think every relationship has its ups and downs, but the love is definitely there. We all work through the jealous issues. Then I think that is, because it's about it's like teamwork make the dream work, right? So it's like communication, right? Communication is important. Being able to state your needs. Like, if you have certain needs, they have certain needs. If everybody is being open and communicating what their needs are and ensuring that each person can meet the needs, like, I think that if you guys have open communication and you're honest, right? Because, you know, it takes a lot of honesty to have real open communication with your partner. So I feel like if you are having that, then I think that, you know, I wish you guys the best and luck in your relationship, and I think it can flourish, you know what I mean? Because that's all, like, relationships are, like, no matter how many people are involved, is that we all are in agreement to participate. And as long as there is no dishonesty, as long as there is no deception in the dynamic, and I know exactly what I'm dealing with the dynamic, I know who I'm dealing with, I think that any relationship can flourish with that. If you got honesty, communication, good intention, like, it could be you know, 7 motherfuckers in the relationship. You know, it's just all about everybody, like I said, our needs getting met, all of that stuff. So I feel like if you guys are in that era, in that lane in y'all relationship, that y'all can do the proper communication, you guys all support each other mutually, the love is genuine. Because I can see, so you know how they say 3 is company, and like, or sometimes they say that third wheel, and like sometimes there's an oddball out in a situation because it's like, it's like, it feels like a competition with the other two, you know. So as long as that does not exist within the dynamic, then I think that you guys are going to thrive. It's going to be a good dynamic, you know what I'm saying? I really think so. Hey, Dwindle Robinson. for joining the live, love. I got plenty of gems to drop. Ask me a question, relationship advice, whatever, wisdom. I got the wisdom for you. Yeah, but I think that, yeah, you got this. Like, I think, like you said, sometimes there's a little jealousy involved, but if you guys have the communication and know how to, talk to each other, to be honest, be real about what it is, the expectations and all of that stuff, then as long as everybody is honoring each other, I think that there is nothing wrong, baby. There is nothing wrong. It's all about what you guys agreed to, and as long as everybody that signed that contract to be involved is meeting the needs of what that contract is, then it is what it is, baby. But as soon as, like, motherfuckers start acting weird and shit, and you feel like you the oddball out, you feel like I'm a third wheel versus it feeling like we're all in it together, then I feel like, that ain't something you don't want to participate in anymore. But it sounds like y'all are working well together, right? Y'all working well together? You think so? What's up, the jeweler, Big B788? What's poppin'? Ask me anything. I got relationship advice, life advice, spiritual advice, whatever. Or maybe you got some gems to drop. Feel free to share the vibes in the live. Any other questions? I got plenty. Any other, you want me to go any more detail about the throuple relationship, or you got any questions about how you should handle something in your throuple relationship? What's up, Big B788? What's poppin'? Thank you so much for joining the live and sharing your energy with us today. You got any questions for me? Yeah. It's lit. You agreed 100%? All right, good. I'm glad that I could, add on some wisdom to that experience that you got there. Big B788, what's up? What's going on? What questions you got for me? Dwindle Robinson, what's up? Who's still in the live with me? Look like it's one viewer at this point in time. We got that one-on-one. We got the one-on-one energy right now. So what? You want to ask me anything? It don't gotta be personal. Just what it's all about. Sharing this wisdom to empower you guys. So, what questions you got for me? I mean, if you're just here to admire the beauty, you can do that too, baby. It's always a vibe on this side. Period. Never been in that type of relationship. What is it like? Well, that ain't a question for you then. Like, that was a question that one of my viewers was asking. That's the type of relationship that they're in, but I've never been in that type of relationship either. But so I couldn't tell you what it's like. That's why you might want to ask something that's relevant to you. That was their question because they're in that type of dynamic, and I'm just giving wisdom based off of what I can give to whatever question you're asking. But as far as what it's like, as I said before, I don't know if you was here when I was giving the advice, but like I know how it is to be in a friendship, right? And be the third wheel in a dynamic. So, like I said, even if it's a 3-person friendship, let me use that as an example because I've experienced that. I've never been in a 3-person relationship, but I have dealt with a dynamic where I've been in a friendship with 3 people, and it can kind of be weird sometimes if everybody ain't on the same page. Because a lot of times when it's 3 people, sometimes people try to triangulate you in a situation. So if as long as everybody's in alignment and on the same page energetically and got the same intentions and got the same desired outcome in the relationship, I feel like it doesn't matter how many people in the relationship. It can be, a good relationship. But if it's not, then it's gonna be the opposite. You see what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's about it that I can really give to that. Because like I said, I don't know what it's like to be in a relationship with 3 people. So But what about you? What questions do you have that's relevant to your own personal experience? It's hard to find a good relationship in the Midwest. I'm thinking about moving down south. What do you think? What I think is, it doesn't matter where you move, because that for me, I had that same mindset when I was living up north, and I was like, ooh, when I move, I'm gonna find me a husband and all of this shit, and it don't work like that, baby. It don't work like that. So I think that relationships come into play when we are, like, we'll have all different types of relationships, don't get me wrong, but I think when you get that right, that perfect situation in relationship, like that relationship where it's like, you really have a real connection and you want to be committed in a real dynamic, possibly marriage and things like that. I think that comes when we have worked on ourselves and we're so healed and so fulfilled, like we love self so much, and we know ourselves, right? Because I always think that when people say to love yourself, it's so cliche, because I'm like, I love me, baby, but it's not about, when we talk about loving ourselves, it's really more about knowing ourselves. And sometimes we don't go through the self-discovery like we should, like when we need to, sometimes people go into relationships not even knowing what we really desire in the dynamic, or if we're going into the dating realm, we don't really know what we're looking for. We just allow people to come in. What's up, Dystopian Warlord? Welcome back to the live, love. It's like we don't always know what it is that we're looking for, so then we go through a dynamic with somebody until they do something we don't like, and then we just wasted time with them, because it's like, if we would have known what we wanted from the beginning, we would have knew the right probing questions to ask during the dating process, so we wouldn't even waste time in the relationship with somebody who exhibited deal breakers, or that we could have tapped into to understand what our own deal breakers were, so when we recognize that person exhibited that, we wouldn't get into a relationship with them where now we're emotionally tied to that person and stuff like that. So I think that if it was up to me, I would not feel like, oh, I need to move to find the right person. It's not really about that, because you could literally find the right person exactly where you are when it's divine timing and it's meant, you know what I mean? So, because I realize, like, you'll go somewhere, you might meet somebody on a plane leaving, you might meet somebody, on a walk that may not necessarily even be where you're from. They may be in town visiting from somewhere else. You could literally meet anybody anywhere. So I wouldn't base it off of location to feel like you're going to have more of a higher chance of meeting somebody than others. But I've had that mindset before, so I resonate with you, because I've had that type of mindset about it. Like, oh, when I moved, I'm my husband, right? And here I am, it's 2025. I moved in 2012, goddamn it. And still not married, okay? So, but I also know that during that whole process, I had a lot of healing to do. I had a lot of self-reflection, learning about myself that I needed to do. And now I have a different mindset about it. Like before I was like self-reflecting and learning myself more, I had that mindset. But now that I know myself more, I'm so content in my solitude. Like, I'm so content. Like, I appreciate the fact, because here's the thing too, you'll be so pressed to find a relationship and you'll settle, or you'll find yourself in relationships with people that are not good for you, and then you trap yourself with people, like, or you lock yourself with a motherfucker that you be like, damn, if I would have been invested in knowing my value, I would not have settled for this person. Because, you know, we see it every day. People be fucking married, having kids with people, and it's like, you realize they're the fucking devil. You realize, like, damn, they're fucked up people, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it'd be too late. But when you really have tapped into self, like, you know, your intuition, your discernment, you follow certain things that will allow you to see it from a mile away, so you don't waste time and energy and stuff like that. So I think if you're looking for a good relationship, find that good relationship in yourself first, and get that self-discovery of what it is that you really desire, what it is that you really like. Like, look at your ideal relationship. What does that look like? Like, what does your ideal relationship feel like? The person that you're with in your ideal relationship, how do you guys go about day-to-day, like, life experience? Like, because I think too, like, you don't think about, well, how would we parent together if we had children, right? The important shit is, like, we don't think about that until we're in it that deep, right? We don't think about it until we're already, like, we get knocked up and have a kid. Now we arguing about, I don't want my baby to get no vaccine. And then the other parent like, bitch, you gonna vaccinate my kids? Now y'all fighting about shit that y'all should have had a conversation about in the beginning, and you could have known, like, oh, nah, hell nah. You don't even know how to raise kids, right? Like, you don't know how, like, things that are really important. For whatever reason, it's like we don't think about that in the beginning, in the dating process, right? So we be so far ahead thinking about our relationships, but then we don't know what that looks like to us, right? So I think when we start being able to create that vision, that picture about what our relationship looks like more, then when we start dating, we'll know how to pick the right one, and we'll be able to see it from a mile away if they're not the right one, and we don't waste too much energy and too much time. So, but yeah, I think that follow your intuition, though. If you're feeling like guided to move, and that you'll find your person somewhere else, because, you know, they do. I do feel that in the South, right? They got what they call it, Southern hospitality. So I get it. I understand the idea of wanting to move to the South. Hey, Regina Dreams, thank you so much for joining the live, baby. Ask me anything. I got relationship advice, life advice, spiritual advice, whatever. I got you, baby. I'm dropping gems. But yeah, like, I understand, like, deciding that you want to go to the South to, you know, it may be more likely. You know what I mean? You got, like I said, they got that Southern hospitality, you know, so. You know, and also too, I don't know what, like, if you care about ethnicity and things like that, but yeah, I feel like people in the South are more cultured. You got a lot more melanated people in the South, and so I mean, I think that if you are, you know, looking to do that, I understand. Damn, y'all, I gotta change my music again. Let me see if I can just turn this shit off. Let me see. So let's see. What's your intake on Mormons? I met some the other day and they brought me back. Okay, hold on one second, y'all. Don't go away. I gotta change this music or live. The live is. Thank y'all for y'all patience. And hold on. So let me see what you said. So what's your intake on Mormons? I met some the other day and they brought me back to God, which I think was cool, but they've been trying to baptize me, but something about it doesn't sit right with me. But I don't know if I'm scared or what, because they've been so kind and helpful, but I don't think I want to be a part of them. Okay. So I think that first of all, you should always go with your intuition, okay? So if intuitively, right, you're feeling that something is off, you gotta trust that sometimes, because my thing is we all have our own personal connection with the Most High. And yes, it's a beautiful thing if they brought you closer to God. I think that it's nothing wrong with keeping that connection in a sense of like, okay, but religion and relationship with God is two different things. Like religion is based on, having a middleman, and you gotta have your own direct connection with the Most High. So I feel like if you are feeling intuitively that something is off, go with that, follow that, okay? And there's nothing wrong with you continuing to learn more about whatever wisdom they have to share with you, like to become even closer to the Most High. But I think that the more that you feel that they're trying to pressure you into something, because I think anybody that is like a spiritual, giving any type of spiritual guidance, they have to have a level of free will, like to allow people to make decisions on their own. And when you started to feel like pressure, I don't think that that's of God too, because God gave us free will, right? And I feel like anytime you feel like it's a pressure, I feel like people are pushing their own agenda on to you, I feel like. So I think that if you are feeling this intuitive nudge to kind of, I think you should follow that for sure. And yeah, if you don't want to be like, I wouldn't be a part of that either. Like anything, like the thing about it is like we're in an era and an age now where we're starting to understand that a lot of these religions were created to control our mindsets and things like that. What's up, Taze? Welcome back to the live, love. I'm back. Yeah, I'm back at it, baby. I'm back at it again. So yeah, I think that but I don't know if I'm just scared or what, because they've been so kind of helpful. Yeah, so that's the thing too. Like people, I'm not saying that these people are spiritual predators. I'm just saying that people who are spiritual predators, they hide behind masks of kindness and help. You know what I'm saying? They do that because they know that's how you get people who are vulnerable. So I think that just because people are helpful and kind does not mean that you owe them anything, right? You have to always follow your intuition first, because our intuition is our direct connection to God and what He's wanting to guide us to do, what direction He wants us to go. And that doesn't mean like the reason why you met that Mormon community could have very well been to get you open and closer to God, but also it doesn't mean that it was directing you to go be a part of their Mormon community. It just gave you an eye opener to say, I need to open up myself more to God. I need to pay attention more to my own intuition. I need to read more into the Word so I can have my own personal understanding about God. And that could have very well just been the main reason why you met them, right? So I think that whatever guided you to them, great, that's a beautiful thing. But now that you're being guided to not get baptized by them or whatever, I just feel like you need to continue to gather more information and until you get those synchronicities or those answers from the Most High directly to tell you how to move forward. I think that whenever you're getting an intuition and you're feeling like, I don't know, and you have to ask yourself, well, what is it about it that makes me feel fearful of it? Like, because fear can also be the devil. Fear can also come in to keep you away from something that you should do. So you have to ask yourself, why am I fearful of it? And when you start to gather those answers of what is making you fearful of it, I think that will help you figure out how to move forward, okay? So do you feel comfortable sharing what that is? And if not, then I know that I'm just telling you, basically do that research for yourself to find out, well, why am I feeling so fearful of this? Like, why am I getting weird vibes from them? Are they doing weird, like, I feel like they're doing weird shit, behind the scene? Or did I catch, like body language and, pattern recognition and microaggression, micro-expression, all of those things subconsciously you may not understand or pick up on, or or consciously rather, you may not pick up on it, but subconsciously you're picking up on everything. And so sometimes it's warranted for you to feel it, but you have to start digging deep and asking more questions for yourself to formulate what those answers are. You see what I'm saying? So, do you feel that the fear that you have is warranted? Like, it's coming from good reasons? Or do you feel like, because I always say faith over fear, but at the same time, fear is also a tool. Like, you got to recognize, what is it that's making me feel uncomfortable? Because it may not be fear, it might just be discomfort. You have to ask yourself, well, why do I feel uncomfortable with this? And so, if you want to give more details, then I can continue to give you more direction in how to move forward. But just based off of sharing that general statement, that's my advice. Did you have any other questions in regards to that, Regina? And but I think that it's a blessing for sure that you are feeling more open to the Most High now. You know what I mean? So like I said, sometimes things come into your life just for a reason, for you to get activated, so you've been activated. Now you can go on your own journey of discovery, to gain more understanding of what God is to you, because we all have our own purpose and destined path, and we have to gather that on our own sometimes. Like, they can't tell you what that destiny and what that purpose is. You know what I'm saying? But they'll try if you let them, because that's what religious people are like. They want to force their own agendas onto you, right? So you said exactly, because I have a direct connection to the Most High. But I went through a miscarriage, which sent me into a deep depression. I barely could get out of my bed, but then one day I finally got up. I was like, I need to get air, get back to me. So I went to the park and ran into them. It's like at that time I needed them and the words they had for me. See, and God is good like that. And like I said, there's synchronicity in everything. There's divine timing in everything. You needed that in that moment for you to seek that inspiration, for you to feel renewed, for you to feel activated, to feel like it's time for you to get out of that depression, right? And that's the thing too, and it's okay for you to feel depressed in certain moments, because you need to feel those emotions, but you also need to release them so you can then heal from situations, You said, and I started going there and I would feel so much better, but now they trying to force baptism on me, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they was used for a vessel at the time, but I don't think that means exactly. And that's my point, is what I'm saying is yes, God will use people, like you said, to get you out of a funk or to move you in the right direction. Let's see, but I don't think that means I owe them to be in their religion. Like, they read the Book of Mormon, and I tell them for some reason I can't connect with that book, only the Bible. Yes, girl, yes. So, like I said, I think that you are doing the right thing by following your intuition about how you feel about it. Because like you said, up until they started forcing baptism on you, you was good, right? So it's that's what I'm talking about with free will. You need to let your spirit guide you with your own will of how you should move forward. And when people start trying to push their own agendas onto you, you should very well question it. And I think that that's what you're doing. And there's nothing wrong with you feeling like, look, in my own time, and you have the right to say, hey. And I think that when you're standing on business about what you feel, the way that they respond to that will really let you know if you should continue to be, continue to deal with them. You should let them know, hey, I appreciate you guys. You guys really, inspired and empowered me and awakened me in a hard time that I was going through. And now I'm feeling renewed. Now I'm, allowing God to move through me to tell me how to move forward. And, I appreciate you guys' wisdom, but, I I know I'm allowed God to guide me, and when it's right for me to become baptized and things like that. Right now, intuitively, I'm not feeling that this is the time, but I give you guys so much thanks and gratitude for empowering me in the time of need that I needed you guys, right? And I feel like if you were to express yourself in that way, in your own words, and then you can tell by the way, if they continue to try to press their will and their, go against your desire and trying to push their own agendas, then I feel like that's how you know that, okay, it's time for you to exit stage left and, go in your own direction for what feels right to you. Okay. Exactly. Thank you so much. I needed to express this to someone. Exactly. They blame it on the devil trying to confuse me, but I'm like, no, I genuinely just don't feel like I need to be baptized right now. Exactly. Because you have to think about it. Like, we're all vessels, right? You are a vessel of God, just like they are a vessel of God. And not everybody hiding behind a religion is a vessel of God. Some are a vessel of the devil. And just because they hide behind being some sort of religious person, like, they may not always have the best intentions. So it's like, follow your intuition when it comes to that, because like you said, like, we all know on a global scale that, a lot of these religious people are actually worshiping Satan and the devil and things like that. So now we have to be more careful about, just because people are hiding behind religion and hiding behind Christianity, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they're really about, So I think that, yeah, you're doing the right thing by following your intuitive nudges, and you don't let them guilt trip you or make you feel like you're less a follower of God just because because you're not moving at their pace. You know what I mean? I don't think that. Yeah, and that's what I noticed too about, like, overly religious people. They overstep their boundaries too much. Like, they're always trying to press their own beliefs and agendas onto people, and I don't think that is what God really desires for people. Like, God be wanting people to find their own way to find Him and be awakened to His light and His love. So I think that I think you're on the right path, baby. Right, I think the same. It's about the heart posture. Anybody can go to church and pray. Who are you after that? Exactly. Big facts. And I meet more demonic people that are religious than not. Like, I think a lot of people, because you got spiritual predators. You got people who use spirituality because they know a lot of people come vulnerable. They know a lot of people come not really knowing God, so they feel like that's an opportunity for them to manipulate and deceive people who don't really know God. And so they'll use that in a way to try to control you, and then, they'll push their own agendas onto you. So yeah, girl, follow that intuition. Dystopian warlord, are you in touch with masculine energy or mostly feminine? I'm in touch with, first of all, I'm very balanced in my divine masculine and divine feminine energy. So I'm in touch with both, I feel, and I can definitely tap into whether I'm speaking to a woman or a man. I think I can still resonate and give you good wisdom and all of that. So you have a question you wanted to ask me? But yes, Regina, I concur with what you're saying. I think that you got the right idea. Don't be pressed. Don't be pressured. Be confident in your decision-making skills and be confident in your intuition, because your intuition is clearly God speaking through to you, So I think the more that you practice tapping into your intuition, the more closer you are to God. You're just learning about balancing yours, that's all? Okay, yeah. I think people tend to forget that we exhibit both feminine and masculine energy within, and I think that when you're a woman or if you're a man, you identify with one or the other, and you turn into like toxic masculine or toxic feminine because you don't have the balance of either. You know what I mean? So, but thank you. You can tell that I'm balancing both. I appreciate that acknowledgement. Thank you. Yes, I most certainly work on both aspects, to have that balance and stuff like that. So I appreciate you having that awareness. Yeah, so you vibe with me on plenty of I know you used to be tapped in when I was going live more often, a few months back and stuff like that. Now I'm just getting back into that energy of trying to get on the live more, because I miss you guys. I miss having the personal one-on-ones and being able to chop it up with y'all on a deep level. And I know that I like creating this community in this live. So I think that is kind of discouraging sometimes when you get on the live and it's just one-on-one, because right now it's just like me and you, but I appreciate the one-on-one conversations as well. Like, I think people get they feel awkward if they jump on the live and it's just there's nobody else in here and they just jump off the live. But I appreciate like in communicating despite of how many people are on the live, but I think that it's also a matter of just me being consistent and keeping the avenue open for you guys. So I think that the more that I do this, the more people will get involved and we'll be able to vibe out and stuff like that. So that's why I feel like I'm gonna do this more often. Like, even yesterday I felt like I was on live. I'll tap out and tap back in to just so people can get the notification that I am live. But yeah, like, I wouldn't give a damn. Like, I keep it open. I may talk to 3-4 people within the night, and that's okay with me, because I think that God will send people through that need the message or that need somebody to talk to, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm gonna be here for that, even if it's just one person. If it's just, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Hey, Z the Empress, thank you so much for joining the live, love. Ask me anything. I got spiritual wisdom, all kind of advice to give, relationship advice, whatever. Yeah, I personally speak up when there's no one, because I like the one-on-one, so I appreciate all the work you do. Most definitely, yes. Like I said, first of all, your name, I love your name, this dystopian warlord. So, like, that's just a memorable name. So, like, I remember you from when you used to come on my live, and I feel like you are definitely a supporter so I appreciate anybody, especially that's been supporting me, from the get-go. So I really appreciate that. So y'all are the ones that I do this for, you know what I'm saying? Keep the avenue open so that way we can have these. I'm just a philosopher. Like, I'm like somebody that likes to be deep, and it's not always people that want to get deep all the time and have those type of conversations. So, like, that's why I come on here, because I know that, if you create a platform, the people that are in alignment with that, they will find you. And so we found each other. So yeah, I love it, And also too, it's just, there's nothing essence, there's no essence like the presence, right? You can't get the essence of something except for like the present moment. So that's why I really like the live, because even in my pre-recorded content, like, it's still authentic, but it's something about the energy of being in the moment, right? In the present moment. And like, that energy is just, that authentic build. Like, you guys come on here and be saying shit that I'm not expecting for you to say, and we just build on a raw, authentic basis where we just be talking. Yeah, I'd like to pay you for tarot card reading maybe in October, if you're down. Of course, I'm down. Most definitely. October the 6th. Okay, so is that Virgo? October, yeah, is that Virgo or Libra? That's I forget. It's either Virgo, Libra, because Scorpio is later on in October. Right? Libra, yeah, Libra gang. I relate to Libras because I am a Libra rising. So, like, and plus Libras are air signs, and I'm an Aquarius sun. So, like, I resonate with Libras so much. I really love Libras too, because, Libras are going to be fair. That Libras are always going to be Libras can put, their feet in other people's shoes and be able to be empathic and things like that. So that's why I love me a good Libra. I have a Scorpio rising and moon though. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a Libra and Scorpio together. Okay, so you probably what's that word they just said? You what? There's a new term that I've been seeing, like the younger kids say. They be like, "Oh, you freaky" or something like that. Libra and Scorpio together, you might have a little freak side too. Yes, air signs are so rad. Water makes me too emotional. Yeah, water, emotional is good though, as long as it's a healthy, oh, I'm uncomfortable. Let me, my little rolls, I gotta put my rolls up. I'm feeling bloated right now. It's, I don't want y'all to see me looking fat and shit. Oh my gosh, I gotta change my position, y'all. I'm getting uncomfortable. This concrete, oh my gosh, my ass is hurting. Woo, but y'all look at the view, it's beautiful. But yeah, water signs, yes, can be very emotional. I don't know if you're into, I don't know if you're aware of no, you do, because you told me your moon, your rising, and your sun, so I'm sure you've seen your whole chart and everything like that. My chart is predominantly fire, so I have a lot of fire in my chart, but I think it's like fire, then air. I have very little, I think I have the least water, I think, in my chart, basically, is where I'm going. But at the same time, with me being an Aquarius, we're the water bearers, so we know how to have that emotional intelligence, you know what I'm saying? But it's we don't always wear our emotions on our sleeve, and we tend to be observant though of how we're feeling. We know how to disperse the emotional in a healthy way. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I need to study it more. I wanted to learn about the houses in Lilith before I studied my chart again. No, yes, I get that. I think that knowing your houses in Lilith is a big deal, because then you know how to, when you have a full moon in a certain sign, or you have these different things, you know how it's going to affect you on a day-to-day. So I think that's really important. All right, baby, well, enjoy, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me today. Sending you much love. Mwah. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful out here today. So yes, y'all, don't know if you have any more. Okay, you're welcome, love. Thank you. So I think I'm gonna tap out and tap back in. So yeah, I want to see if I can get a new round of folks to come join the live. So have a great day, guys.